Trevon Bosley. Good to see
You
you.
too, you too.
Now, we did a show a while back, but that was audio only, so we're meeting in video, whatnot. Okay, you're from March for Our Lives. So let's tell the folks, what is March for Our Lives?
Yeah, March for Our Lives is a violence prevention organization started out of Parkland, Florida, following the shooting that happened at their school at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. Following that shooting, some of the Parkland survivors flew down to Chicago, met with some of our youth here who were doing violence prevention, and together we worked on the one of the biggest rallies in youth DC history. And following that came this whole organization where we still empower young people to be the voices of change, to be the voices of tomorrow in the gun violence prevention space. Through the work that we've done, we've been able to pass over 100 pieces of statewide legislation around gun violence. We were some of the key people fighting for the Office of Violence Prevention, which was in the White House at a point, first time ever. And we were also one of the biggest fighters for the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, which was the first piece of federal gun violence legislation to pass in like over 40 years. So through all of that and the school shooting, and then also my own, experiences with gun violence, we have been able to do a boatload of things when it comes to the violence prevention aspect. And myself, and now I'm board co-chair.
So, you know the statistics. Is gun violence decreasing in the United States of America?
Yeah. So, of course, any shooting is still too many, especially for communities that have been experiencing gun violence for a very long time. But we've seen in cities around the country that gun violence numbers are dropping, due in part really by the CVI organizations and the CVI ecosystem of violence prevention measures, whether that's the street outreach guys, whether that's survivor resources, youth programming. It's a multitude of things that are leading to that change. But we're seeing decreases here, like in Chicago. We've had our lowest numbers since I think the 1960s. You have places like Baltimore seeing incredible decreases, places like New York. So we're seeing that when funding was going into the violence prevention space, we always knew the people knew the answers to the situation, and those initiatives were working.
Now, as we know, we're from Chicago. Here in Chicago, it's been so long. I was in a school shooting in 1977. So long, I should have wrote all this, wrote a memoir down. And it's hard to find the news report because it was 1977. I was a freshman in high school. You can't even. It's probably in the hieroglyphics. You probably can't find it online because it's such a weird location. It was at Curtis Elementary School, which was the school with a freshman finger class, finger high school. I was there. Long story. So I remember a young lady was shot and killed. I don't even remember. Yeah, so long ago, 77. But you just went home. It was on the TV news. I don't know if I went back to school that week. But the point is that a lot of people are still killed. This young man was killed. You don't really know how. It was a gun murder, not too far from my house, and it's still happening.
Yeah.
What will it take? Will it take more funding, or will it be a change of a culture? Because we're in the United States, we're a gun crazy culture. There's a lot of anger, a lot of mental illness. Will it change? Really a change of the culture, or just with it just plain old public policy to really stop this gun violence?
I think it's a combination. We need, public policy on one end because we know there are more guns in some of our communities than people. So that's something that needs to be taken care of, whether that's the straw purchases, guns flooding in from Indiana and all these surrounding states, but also more funding into the violence prevention ecosystem. So some of those resources I mentioned, the survivor resources, making sure survivors are taken care of because survivors are very easily perpetrators of gun violence due to the pain that they feel, the loss, the regret, the anger, etc. They're without resources, they'll be likely to go commit crimes again. The street outreach workers, those going out and making sure that these gangs have peace treaties, making sure some of these people in these communities have resources, are connected to workforce programs, record expungements, things like that, and the youth programming, making sure youth have somewhere to go to actually promote safe initiatives. So it's a combination. We the funding that we received into the CVI ecosystem from the Biden administration, it was the most money we had received to that point, but it was still way too low. And now with Trump, we're seeing almost $1 billion being cut from the CVI ecosystem as a nation. So it's both policy as well as more funding into the initiatives that work.
I just gotta chime in. Well, we focus on the youth, but there was a shooting not far, I mean, here, south side of Chicago, the far south side of Chicago, 100 and something, Peoria, Oregon, I don't know where it was. The point is, it was like a 75-year-old man, and I see a lot of shit where the victims are my age, in their 60s or 70s, and sometimes the perpetrators in their 60s and 70s. How we stop old folks from shooting each other and
Man,
murdering their family and friends?
yeah, yeah, that's definitely happening for sure. It's all about taking care of that entire ecosystem of people. So whether that is, the legislation side, making sure, people may be going through a mental health crisis aren't, having a gun. That's red flag laws and things like that. Where people can report that and the, judges, et cetera, can take away people's guns for a brief amount of time. Or that's making sure that, even elderly and older folks have somewhere to go and be safe. So that's one of the initiatives that we're working on with another organization that I work with, is making sure that we're taking care of the whole family when it comes to an event. We're making sure that the youth have something to do. We're making sure the parents have something to do. And we're also making sure the seniors are taken care of as well. One of the events, I'll try to be fast about it. One of the events we're doing is a career day and financial literacy day for the entire community. So we have careers for the young people to hear from different people that came from the neighborhood where they are now. We have doctors, lawyers, etc., mechanics, entrepreneurs, so the young people can see the different potential careers they can go into. We have saving and budgeting for the parents, as well as some job programs that'll be there, so the parents, can be taken care of, know how to budget their money, save their money, as well as find other ways for them to try to, fight against poverty. And then we have senior assistance classes for the seniors and caregivers. There's even a program where if you're over the age of 55 and taking care of a teen, you get certain resources and things like that. So we just want to make sure that there is a holistic approach when it comes to addressing gun violence, especially in the communities, and actually addressing some of the things that you wouldn't think are violence prevention.
Trayvon Bosley, thank you.
Hmm. Thanks.